Okay, Claire and Caleb, I'm super excited to dive in. So thanks for hopping on this live coaching call. So we were talking a little bit offline about what the expectation here is. And Claire, you actually came to me with this idea of like, you guys have some goals. We have some challenges that we're looking to overcome. Let's make kind of a public case study of it. And the anticipation is we're going to go through like our initial coaching session live right now. And then we're going to do a check-in in the future. I think that we might need a couple check-ins, maybe depending on what you guys think, but that's kind of the case, right?
Yeah.
Super excited. So for those listening in, just who are not yet familiar with you, can you just give yourself a quick intro and give us a look at where we're at right now in business?
Sure. We are Caleb and Claire Van Horn, and we live in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And I got my real estate license at the very beginning of 2018, shortly after we got married. Today is our 4-year wedding anniversary. I can tell you that.
Congratulations.
We made it. So I got my real estate license, and the truth of why and when I got it was that I was in advertising and advertising sales, and I was selling things to people I didn't exactly believe in all of the time. And I found out quickly that I had a knack for sales, and I enjoyed talking to people, and I really loved the idea of helping them. But I just really didn't know, is this service going to be what does help their business or help them personally? And it gave me a lot of anxiety. And so when I was thinking about what are things that people want, and I can just help them get it. Homes, of course, they want a home. I'm not trying to sell them the home. I'm just trying to help them get it. So that was where my heart was at that time. And Caleb had a job that was really doing well. And so I thought, I'll just do real estate. It'll be this fun little thing. I could sell here and there. It doesn't need to be a career. Like, honestly, I thought I will do this and it'll be a great little moneymaker. And it took off. And so I had to reevaluate. This is not just a fun little side gig that you're doing. This is a career. And if you want to truly serve your clients well, you need to take it seriously. So that was probably about a year and a half or 2 years in that I kind of had to reevaluate.
Yeah, about 12 months. Yeah.
Yeah. Why am I doing this? What do I want from it? If I want to best serve my clients, I need to be fully in, not just another girl who got her license and is, going to sell to friends and family. So yeah, I kind of started reworking my business a little bit. And then Caleb got his license this year, at the beginning of this year, shortly after we had a baby. So back up, we had our first son last December, and I really wanted to take some time off. A whole 6 to 8 weeks felt crazy at the time, but it was really, really good. But as everyone knows who's in real estate, if you take that time off, it's not like when you're back, you're going to start having closings, because now you're starting from scratch. So I took about 6 weeks off and then had to hit the ground prospecting. And our first closing of this year wasn't until March.
Yeah, and close to the end of March. That's about when I got my license. And background for me, I have background in real estate finance, and then had my home inspector's license for a little while. Always dabbled in real estate. I was the one that kind of pushed Claire towards real estate and like, hey, you'd be great at this.
I forgot to mention that.
And now here we are 3 years later, and I've got my license and we're working together and able to do that. And I'm still able to do some other stuff on the side too. So
I love that. And so when our paths crossed, you guys reached out about the Market Authority Academy because with Caleb joining the duo and like being more involved, you guys really saw a need for like systems and processes.
Yeah.
And that is my influence on Claire's business.
Okay.
Yeah, I say I'm the people person. I last year had a great year for being pregnant during a pandemic. Had a wonderful year, so I thought. But there were no processes other than what my brokerage required of me. So I checked off compliance. I did exactly what I was supposed to do. Every now and then I'd see on Facebook that it was one of my clients' birthdays, and I would shoot them a text thinking about you, because I genuinely love them and care about them. But there were no follow-up dates. There was really nothing that was keeping my pipeline. No CRM at all. My CRM was my brain, which is it's fine. It's fine. So it was a hectic year, and I was just craving process. As someone who doesn't always love process, I was craving that, because I truly do want to be able to serve my clients better, and I want to be able to be more present in my home. And the speed at which I was running is just not sustainable. I was about to lose it.
Yeah. And it's interesting when you get to that point, because you realize that there's potential that you're not tapping into. And there's something about our inner voice that says, hey, you're not doing what you know you can be doing.
Absolutely.
But we can't do it all. Yeah. So something has to give. So how did this year go as opposed to last year? Like, let's start with what went really well.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I think this year, Claire, after kind of essentially a wash of the first quarter, we had 2 closings that happened Q1 this year. That was a total of, $400,000, a little bit over $400,000 in gross commission. And that kind of, I would say more or less was the start of our business year, was Q2. After joining Market Authority, me having my license, having a little bit of time off with our son, Q2 through Q4, I guess we have 3 deals that are pending currently in Q4. We're over $6 million in gross commission. So Q2 and Q3 were both really good. Obviously the market was crazy. I think that has something to do with it. And some of it was, getting back into the rhythms and the prospecting, and then taking some of what we learned in the Market Authority and applying it, and then not following through on all those things after we got busy.
Mm-hmm.
And then seeing now the effects of that, months later of a little bit slower seasonal, just with back to school and stuff in our market. So
yeah,
looking to ramp up for 2022.
Okay. What did so you had 6 in sales volume, 6 million in sales volume?
6 million in gross sales volume, a total of 21 deals. So right at $300,000 average. Okay,
cool. How did that fare as opposed to 2020?
So 2020, 17 total deals and 4.6 million in gross. And that average was about 271,000.
Okay. So probably capitalizing a lot on just valuation increases.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
But definitely more deals, which I mean, hey, that's really, really cool with a new baby. I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah.
So what else went really well this year? In terms of hitting those numbers, what do you think really helped you get to that point? Because I mean, like you said, you had kind of a super slow first quarter. Part of that was by design. It's okay. It's cool. The market was hot, sure. But what actions do you guys think you just really kind of nail in order to capitalize on those opportunities?
I think rebranding, or just branding in general, has really helped us. When we added Caleb in, we really wanted to position ourselves as, this is our career, this is our life, it is a family business. And so we really wanted to think through, how do we let people know this? How do we have a brand that is a lifestyle and not just a, hey, I'm Claire, your friendly neighborhood realtor. But we are Caleb and Claire Van Horn. We are market authoritarians. And so we ended up finding someone to do our branding. She's done branding for you. Yeah. She was incredible.
Caroline Blueprint. Gotta love her.
Yes. She took, exactly our vision and ran with it. And our branding turned out even more beautiful than I thought. But more so than just,
I think, really
the aesthetic of it. I mean, it just nailed who we are. Yeah. And I think it was able to get our voice across better than if I just pulled up Canva and did my best.
Yeah. And I think, dialing in our target client, we worked a lot with that with you, and identifying who that target audience is, being able to speak to them, where their needs are, what their fears are, what their anxieties are about, first time home buying or selling their house for the first time and buying a new one. And what does that look like? And, kind of capitalizing on some of the equity that our, Claire's past clients had made over the last, 3 years. So I think really niching down in that factor, I think kind of, took out some of the chaos of chasing, too many deals or rabbit holes, and just trying to focus on serving the people that we know that we can serve the best.
Yeah. And lastly, I just was thinking about how much fear I personally have of coming across as pushy or annoying or salesy. And I feel like being in the market authority, it's kind of quelled those fears of, no, this is your career. You are allowed to ask for referrals. And more so people want to give you referrals. Like once that clicked with me, it's changed my business.
I love that. So let's talk about that specifically. You mentioned that you're primarily referral. I know you don't have all the numbers for your lead sources, but can you just break down, give me a high level overview of where most of the business is coming from and the activities that's leading to that?
Sure. I would say that if we're starting with our highest,
it's going to be sphere and referral, and that's at least 3/4, if not 85% of our business right now is sphere or direct referral, from almost sphere to, I would say sphere +1. Oh no.
Yeah.
So it's, I would say, very close to home. And then Claire has built up a decent sized audience through Instagram and been able to, kind of capitalize on some of that through personal Instagram and then our business. And we've actually, had a couple deals that have come just straight through Instagram.
Yeah. I closed my first, didn't know you at all, person.
Yeah. Relocation.
Last month. And that was awesome. And so that was kind of my market authority was totally worth it moment.
Awesome. I love that. Cool. Any other lead sources that are measurable?
Not really. That's basically it.
And that's what comes into our next goals, which we will speak to.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. So if we look at, I guess first, what went wrong? If you feel, and this is not a bashing session, but if we're looking back and we're like, there are some things that slipped through the cracks, we could have done this or that better. What are those opportunities?
Definitely things that slipped through the cracks. We were talking about that earlier. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Personally, I think even just farming our own sphere and network and being more consistent in showing up, I think is one area.
Educating our sphere more on
new builds.
If you're building, we can help you, and we would love to help you, and it costs you nothing to work with us.
You get burned a couple times.
Yeah, definitely.
More than three.
Handful. Education. Like I feel like I kept hearing people say, "Oh, I had no idea that I should call you instead of calling the listing agent. I had no idea." And I'm just like, really? I feel like I'm preaching these things, but I need to get my megaphone out.
Okay. So what I'm hearing then is tightening up the marketing towards our database, maybe even expanding that to specific neighborhood farming to establish that brand presence even more. And then really making sure that we're consistent there and being more direct in the way that we serve our clients, which, to be fair, you're at a place in your business, 3 full years. Are we talking it's almost like to the day, 3 full years? I feel like
4 years for her will be in
next February. Yeah.
4 years in February.
Okay. So, there is this weird thing that happens where it does take a little while for you to find your voice. It does take a little while for you to understand and be able to contextualize the value that you have with your database. And then speaking of database, do you know how many contacts you have in your database?
I want to say close to 200.
Yeah, close to 200 that we've weeded out. Through the market authority, kind of weeded out quite a few. I think it initially it was over 300
It was like
and
375, and we just kind of had to whittle.
Yeah.
Some of the people that we know.
Are those top business, top network, and past clients, or there is one more than the other?
So I would say that past clients, top referrals, people we know and like, who we think will refer us. And then our goal, one of our goals for 2022 is to really establish our business connections better. We have so many wonderful people that we work with, and we have not been utilizing them as well as we think that we could. I mean,
I think just being able to refer other businesses. I mean, we live in Oklahoma City. It's a big market, but it's not a major market. There's a lot of friendly faces. You run into the same people constantly. Especially in the downtown area, it's the same local business shop owner. You see them at the brewery, and you can make connections like that actually are personal. And I think for us, just as like a couple, and as we plan to be in this market, it's more than just the transaction. It's the human connection. It's the being able to serve, being able to refer good people to good people, and continue to help those businesses thrive. I think is beyond the transaction is what we want our business to be built on, and how we serve not only our customers but other people's businesses around us.
I love that. Okay, that's beautiful, Caleb. I think that once you get to that point, it becomes more of a mission than a sale. And it's easier to market and tighten up that marketing message. And a lot of that can give you that energy, especially you, Claire, to continue going and to continue connecting with people, even on days when you might feel a little burned out,
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So let's talk about 2022. Okay. What are the goals? Do you have production goals in mind?
I have production goals in mind. Claire and I's production goals sometimes miss the mark. So I'm a shoot big, and if we fall short, that's okay. And Claire really wants to hit the number she sets in mind.
So I told Caleb this the other day. We'll just throw out an arbitrary number of 100,000. If my goal was $100,000 in commission, if I made 110, I would be thrilled. But if my goal was 150 and I made 140, I would be so devastated, even though that is more money than 110. 140 is still higher. I have this grip on my goals that I need to let go of. But that's who I am. And I'm trying to not sit in that's who I am. We can grow and we can get better.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay. So that being said, then what are both of your respective production goals? Because I want to hear both now.
Okay, so 2020, Claire by herself did over 4.5 million, and that was just about double what she did in 2019. Mm-hmm. So then this year,
I probably started out, if you don't mind me interrupting you. In 2018, I probably did about $1 million, and one transaction was half of that. Remember, I had that bigger deal. Yeah. And then I had a couple others in there that made up the rest. Mm-hmm. The next year, so I went from about 1 to 2, and then 2 to 4 or 5. Yeah. And then this year we're at 6 now. I'm hoping that we round out the year with closer to 7, would you say?
So I think for me, I'm personally looking at it as...
If you say the number I'm thinking, you're thinking...
Let's hear it.
Close to 10 million in gross.
Yeah, I thought you were thinking.
Sales.
30 deals?
At least.
Okay.
And I was looking more towards like 8 million would make me feel great. More like 25 deals. But shoot for the moon, I suppose.
If I'm shooting for the moon, I'm going to say 40 deals, and you don't want that because there's just a difference in philosophy.
For sure.
I understand. And to be fair, Bryce and I are the exact same way, only we're the inverse. So I'm the one who I'm like, shoot for the moon. And just like, but what does that say about us if we don't hit there?
Yeah. And it's our goals. Like no one else has to know these goals, but I don't know.
Okay. Well, I feel like I could go all in on the psychology of what it means. what it means to want to. So let's kind of let's put a pin in that. I think if you fall anywhere in there, you're going to be doing well, but on the trajectory, I mean, you have your goals and you guys decide what feels right. I have my ideas on where I bet you can fall, but I think both of those, anywhere in there, that's a really healthy window to want to fall into. So I think that you're right on the mark with that. Let's talk about how we're going to get there, because in terms of having, let's call it 80% of your business from your database and referral, that is actually very common for a relatively newer business, right? Because you haven't had the chance to season a long-term nurture pipeline. You're mostly looking at like right now deals, whereas, referrals can tend, and you would be able to tell me better, but we typically want to see referrals closing within 6 months, right? Is that kind of about what you guys see?
Honestly, it's a little bit faster.
Yeah.
Usually for us.
Within on the long end, those 6 months.
Yes. Yeah. You're probably just about right. It seems like our referrals, our rate of conversion is pretty high and it's fairly quick.
Yeah. Which is why we want them, right? Because it is a little bit of that lower hanging fruit. There's already that warm, fuzzy, like know, like, and trust factor. But to have a more seasoned, well-rounded pipeline, over time, you will start to be diving into these other lead sources that will have a longer maturation rate, which is kind of what you guys are looking for, because that helps even out kind of what we're looking at. So I think that's where you're starting to sense opportunity in terms of like, let's not lose the opportunities that we already have to the new build situation, which I have some thoughts on, and B, definitely diversifying our lead sources and maybe also starting to re-engage the community, or not re-engage, but start to engage the community in a meaningful way to expand your brand awareness, leveraging the top business network, doing some farming. Is there an area that you're looking to farm?
I would say so, yes.
Yeah, I mean, we're, kind of central core Oklahoma City. There's a lot of semi-historic and houses that our target demographic tend to flock towards. And so I think it's kind of a good match for who we're trying to speak to.
And it's our community, people we love and care about, and we really want to see that community flourish.
I can edit this out if we need to, but are you moving into that community?
So we are moving a whole
mile away.
No, I looked it up. We are moving 1.9 miles down the road, a little bit closer to downtown Oklahoma City than we already are. Yeah. So
I didn't know if that was a secret or anything, but I
saw not a secret. We already closed on our new house. Yeah. So just kind of digging our feet in deeper into the Oklahoma City urban core.
Yeah. Love that. Okay, cool. Okay. Yeah. So I think for sure, the 80% coming from your database and referral, that's fine. That's very normal. It's time to diversify though. Yeah. So where do you guys want to see that percentage shift?
I think that this year has been interesting for me in terms of spending money on the business, because up until this year, I spent $0 on my business.
Close to $0. Besides like closing gifts. I mean, there's.
And I ball out for closing gifts. That's one of my favorite things about being a realtor. I love showering my people with gifts, but I put $0 into it. And so there was a moment when I thought, why should I suppose? But we have started to put more dollars into it. So we are going to be putting some advertising dollars in different areas. And we're really interested to see what happens. I think that people ask you a lot, should I invest in this? Should I invest in this? And I remember you saying on one of the calls, like, it's a little bit of a net that you have to throw out and see what you catch and kind of go from there.
Mm-hmm. Where are we looking to put money?
Caleb?
One, I think we could do better with like client events and client appreciation events.
Yeah.
Just love on the people that are already referring us. I think that's an easy way to do it. I think right now our birthday and referral programs are lacking. Okay. And so that's an area that I think we need to be spending more money. And then outside of that, I think that, we've dabbled in the idea of Zillow leads and all those things. And I don't think that's really, it doesn't fit our business. I think that we're looking at, there's a lot of, the mindset of like a scarcity mindset leads to irrational money being spent on kind of, throwing it to the wind and hoping that we cast a wide net and catch a lot of stuff. And I think that we're in a little bit, like, kind of feeling like we're on shaky ground a little bit with the pipeline thinning out and the year ending and people just kind of settling in for the holidays too. There's just a natural slowdown maybe in the market with back to school. And so I think that's a little bit of a fear of ours of like, oh, well, we haven't done anything, so we need to like play catch up.
Yeah.
I think to your point though, dialing in some of those neighborhoods and areas that we could show up more for in the local businesses or things like that. I think there could be some brainstorming around how to engage that in a meaningful way. And, we've done giveaways and different things like that with some businesses, but, if you have any ideas, I don't think there's.
Yeah, definitely open.
Okay.
We haven't nailed down what our ad budget or what that's going to look like or, money best spent.
Mm-hmm. Let's start with the client events and the programs, because I think that makes sense. If you guys have whittled it down to about 200 contacts, what you want to be seeing is anywhere from like 16 to 20 on the high end deals coming from database, which sounds like that's about where you guys are, which is great. So we want to make sure that we can count on that next year too. The question is, can we get 10 deals elsewhere? Let's put a pin in that though, because you can. We're just going to return to that in a moment. So definitely, I think that this is also going to help you ramp up engagement with your sphere in Q4. So I know that two of the things that we're asking is how can we make sure we end the year on the strongest note possible and set us up for closings starting January so we don't have another slow Q1.
Yes.
And does that seasonally tend to be your slowest quarter, just where you guys are?
Yeah, I would say holidays to, beginning of first quarter, weather starts turning around, more people are willing to sell their house and go to showings and open houses and things like that.
Okay. So I think that what you guys can definitely do, and tell me your thoughts on this, is, you want to start ramping up client events and doing programs specifically for them. I think the easiest one to do is the referral program and the birthday program that we talk about, which you guys, it sounds like it's already on your radar. So is that a goal that you guys can have like dialed in the next 45 days? Identify the birthdays and how that program is going to look?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. And then
I think that's absolutely.
Okay. I agree. I think that that's something that you can begin doing. So at the very least, you're starting January 1st, hopefully before then, but January 1st, every month, okay, this is how we're going to approach the birthdays and get it going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that is more than achievable.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about client events. We're going to the holidays. This is the time to do it. Do you have anything planned for Q4?
We have a very soft plan and we want to nail that down. We would like to have a Christmas party. We've only ever had one other event, right? We had a launch party for our Van Horn Homes, our
kind of
brand unveil. And it was really fun and it was sweet and it was at a brewery and it was kind of small. But we want this to be something that we really kind of ball out for Christmas. So. And
also maybe something we do more annual. Something that starts to establish some of those rhythms so people expect it. I think that's start marking the calendar, make it fun enough that people will come back or invite friends or that type of thing too. And we have slightly differing ideas or kind of brainstorm ideas on what that'll look like.
Okay, I think for sure having a holiday party.
But when you hear back from us in 90 days or 145, whenever we talk next, we should have had the event.
Yes, for sure. So definitely planning on that, having the event. And who are you planning on including at the event?
I mean, of course, past clients, current clients, prospective clients, but also friends and family that we know, like, and trust. And I think that inviting our business contacts would be really great.
I think it's an easy way to
invite your favorite plumber, your favorite home inspector.
Yep. I think that you're right on the money with that. I think that you could even go a step further and look at the local business owners and see if there's a way that you can do a raffle during the party. So the way that excuse me, sorry, my voice. The way that we usually do this is during the party, we have our little like things displayed where it says like us on Instagram, leave a review for us if you're a past client on Yelp, Zillow.com, and like whatever's other agent pages you have. And then all of those are entries into a raffle. So then you have like a really fun raffle where you have like 3 winners, featuring a bunch of local goods from local makers. You know what I mean?
Love that.
So that's one that you can beef up that online presence, but B, also involve other local makers to really like establish that part of your brand awareness. Having them there is a great way to do it. I would absolutely have a photographer and maybe even a videographer there. If you're not already thinking about that. Okay. And then also maybe a favor.
Oh, party favors.
Yeah. So what we usually do is do like a local ornament. Like we have a local maker who does these really cute little ornaments. So that's something that I would be doing too.
Love it. That's great.
Okay. So definitely let me know how that goes. And if you need help as you're planning that, I'm here for you. I think party is a really big thing. I think that when we typically do these, we start promoting it about 6 weeks in advance.
So soon.
So it's time. So you have, you have 2 weeks to nail down the date and venue, and then you need to start promoting after that.
Those are already in the works, so I feel pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So that's the event, but there's still more that we can do to try to drum up business. So have you guys thought about ways that you can reach out to your database, which is already coming through for you, about ways that you can drum up business?
Why are you looking at me?
So one of my goals, my 90-day goals, is to be better about working my way through my database. And we've talked about some ways within the Market Authority to have kind of our priority clients to be talking to, or priority people. So I need to be more consistent.
Claire needs to log into the CRM.
Yes.
That'll be a start. We'll start there.
I'm under the bus right now.
It's okay. It's okay. We have the exact same.
So for a little background, had our son, and Caleb joined on in real estate, and we had this beautiful little baby who was so good, and we put him down on the floor in a little, not boppy, it's been recalled, but whatever hasn't been recalled, so sad, in a little DocuTalk or whatever, and we would just sit there and we would get so much work done. And I was like, why do people think parenting is hard? Like, I am good at this. And then he started moving, and it all went to, and so the last
6 weeks.
Well, yeah, no, a lot longer than that. But the last like 3 or 4 months, we had 1 day of childcare from my sweet mom. I'm so thankful to have her, but she took him on Wednesdays. So I was working on Wednesdays, and that was about it, which is nuts. So we just came to this point where we were like, this is not sustainable. As much as I want to be with our son all the time, I can't be full-time mom and full-time real estate agent and full-time sane person. So we really kind of had some conversations of what that looked like, of nailing down childcare for us. And we came to, now we have 2 full days of childcare and 2 half days of childcare a week. And I'm a new person. I am
I'd say reinvigorated to work on both the business and then also set aside time to still be mom, do mom.
Well, and if I'm being honest, outside of real estate, I'm reinvigorated to be more me. I've gotten back into tennis. I am like trying to, be a healthier person. I mean, you can kind of lose yourself in mothering, and you can lose yourself in real estate. And if only your 2 halves are in those places, it doesn't really leave room for Claire to just be, and to be a good wife, and to be a good friend. So sorry that got real deep real quick, but
no, I think that's an important thing to share. I'm glad that you did. Thank you.
Yeah, I definitely felt like this year, although work went really well, I definitely just lost who I am a little bit. So the next 90 days for me, while I talked to you on the phone, it was maybe last week, and you said, what's your goal? And I was like, well, more money, of course. And I've just been thinking about that. And that's not my goal. It's really not. Like, I want to be a peaceful person. And I want to, of course, I want to provide for my family, and I want us to help our clients, but I want to be at peace. And so when it comes to setting processes and ways in which we work, the goal is, yes, more money, but the goal is to be more at peace. And I was listening to an episode of the Go Giver podcast, and the episode was called Peaceful Prosperity. And that has just been like sitting in my head, like peaceful prosperity is the goal.
Mm-hmm. You and I are at a really similar place in life.
Yeah.
I had to take a mental health day yesterday because I was like, I need to step away. I have not taken any time for myself. And you'll find, and I'm really glad that you're experiencing this right now, because you'll find that as your business continues to grow, which you have seen exceptional growth in the last few years, like it's easy to say like, oh, 1, 2, and then 4, and then 6, like those numbers seem a little arbitrary at the end, but it's hard ramping up and maintaining that level, and you'll find that as you continue to grow and the stakes get higher, the need for self-care is more important, because you will grab energy from those other places of your life that you're pouring into to be able to do more on the production side in your business, while being able to still maintain sanity, like you say, at home and in motherhood, which really is the goal, right? Because like if you are working so hard that you don't enjoy the fruits of your labor, what's the point? You've missed the mark.
Yeah. And Caleb and I talk a lot about, like, although may it be a little dark, like at the end of our lives, do people want to say like, oh, she was just the best realtor? I'm like, oh, I hope people don't say that at my funeral. Like, I hope they're saying I'm like a really good friend, and I'm, I was a really good mom, and I encouraged people. And of course I want to be a good realtor, don't get me wrong, but that's not what I want on the front page of my obituary.
Yeah. So with that being said, does it still sound like something you guys want to consider to go towards something like Zillow leads?
I don't think so. I mean, to me, especially with everything that they're changing, I know they just changed some stuff in Oklahoma City and become more of a flex market, I think is what it's called, or something. I know their like cost per acquisition is through the roof, and then converting those leads, like it sounds nice in theory. It sounds nice that your pipeline is filled with all of these things that you can go chase, but it seems a little bit like busy, and it seems like a drain more than like something that would fill our cup versus, working with local vendors or people we know, like, and trust, or being referred by those people. That sounds like a net positive energy gain, and the other sounds like a big drain. And I think, she's talking about it. We've talked about it a lot in the last year, especially post-COVID, what this looks like. And, we do well enough and we're provided for well enough that, like, yes, money is always a stressor, but we can choose to scale back our spending in other ways. We can choose to be happy despite what we make. Like, we make enough and we're blessed more than enough to, have a good life. So it's like, can we take some of that and spread it around and give it back in ways that are meaningful? And
when I personally look at it, and I don't know, maybe in a year I'll say something completely different. So I know this is being recorded. Burn it if I'm wrong, but the idea of chasing down leads that may or may not be pre-approved, that may or may not buy, who don't know me and trust me, who don't know my heart, it kind of sounds miserable, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my thoughts on buying those leads right now.
Okay. So I agree. I think that in terms of what you're sharing with me, with what your values are, with the lifestyle that you're envisioning for your family and what's really important to you, I think that making sure you're really doubling down on the database, and then really looking to create that foothold in your community, starting to network more strategically with other businesses, starting to farm different areas to expand your brand awareness there. I think that that's going to be a far greater, not only a greater return on your investment, but a return on your heart too. That connection-centered business is really important to you guys, it sounds like.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I think that if we're looking at specific lead sources, database for sure, Have you guys been doing consultations, like homeowner consultations? Like we've been talking about a little bit?
No, we have not. And that is something that is on our radar. We've started working with a new program. Is that okay to answer?
Oh yeah.
We've been working with a program that's kind of talking to people about, the value of their home right now, and we've not been utilizing it, and it's free for us. So that's something we definitely want to start doing.
Is it like HomeBot?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So what I would be doing then, and I think that this is something that will take a lot of time, but now that you have a little more time, this might be the best way that you can spend that time. Get a list of every homeowner in your database that you have directly worked with. So all of your home buyers in the last 4 years, people who have thought about selling their home but haven't quite made the leap yet, get all of those people. And I think now is a really good time to have like an end of year homeowner consultation. So it's like a 15-minute Zoom call where you say, hey, just give them a quick CMA presentation. This is where your home's value is at. This is what the market in the area has done. We just want to make sure that you are aware of what your most highest cost investment is doing, right? This is a great time for them to ask you questions of like, what updates make sense to do at this point? Like, we really want to update the kitchen. Does it even make sense to update the kitchen? Or, the porch has been breaking down. Do you guys have any ideas for like who would be a really great handyman for that? That's when you're going to be doing these things. We're not getting listings at this point. This should hopefully result in actual business. But during this actual consultation, it's 15 minutes of time focused on them. And as the leader, because what you're saying is like you're invested in your community, you want to be a leader in your community. Part of that leadership is being part of that journey through homeownership, not just when they need you to put a sign in the yard. And I think that if you start doing this in the end of Q3, beginning of Q4, and you make a habit of doing this every single year, you will have hopefully a 100% capture rate for repeat clients.
Yeah.
But more referrals than you guys know what to do with. And that might even get you to where you want to be next year and getting to that like 30 deals, 25 to 30 deals alone without even adding anything new.
That's great. That's an awesome idea I hadn't really thought about. I love that.
Yeah.
Is that something that you guys think you can commit to in the next 90 days, getting through that whole list of people?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I'm taking some notes. Hope you don't mind.
Great. Yes, please do. So that's the database, and that should give you some really good juice to close out the year strong. Between the events, between the gifting, I would be doing a letter of the heart to your entire database in Q4 for sure, if you have not already planned to do that.
Okay.
And then those consultations, I think I would love to see what results from that. Okay. So going into Q2 or 2022, we need to start putting a plan together to correct the fall through from new builds.
Yeah.
We need to put a plan together for farming your neighborhood, and we need to put a plan together for some kind of a campaign to get you more in with the other business owners. So I think that those are 3 projects that you're going to want to tackle in the next 90 days. And I would love to see the plans that you guys come up with that. And as far as the top relationships, like the top business relationship aspect of it, I mean, I would be considering things like starting a networking group or starting a podcast or a YouTube channel where you're like meeting with these guys once a week. But literally making a list of the top 50 professionals that you want to get in touch with, like really solidify a relationship with. And then that needs to be part of your face-to-faces for 2022. Every week you're meeting with like 2 or 3 different people. One at least per week needs to be a top professional where you are solidifying that relationship, maybe creating like collaborating on content with them, trying to tap into their networks respectively, that kind of stuff. So that by the end of 2022, you guys have a really clear course to establishing your authority, not just in the real estate space, but as an overall community-centric brand.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. No paying for leads. You're not having to do anything salesy, spammy, but your business will do incredible things just from that. And it's honoring all the values that you've told me today are so important to you.
Yeah, definitely. I love the idea of kind of partnering with some of the businesses that we already love, and we're already giving them free publicity all the time on social media, just saying how much we love them. And so we would definitely like to partner up a little bit.
Yeah.
So how do we feel so far? Where is our mind at?
I mean, it's a lot. Don't get us wrong. There's a lot to do, but we also have been building our schedules that make sense where we have time to do it. So I think that when I break it up, it feels a lot more, I almost said edible. I can eat it. Yeah, best way to eat elephant.
I love that. Okay. Can we meet 45 days from now?
And do kind of like a check-in.
Yeah. And what I want to see is the progress on the database stuff that we talked about and those 3 priorities: correcting the new builds, starting, getting in touch with other businesses, and then identifying the farm.
Okay.
I love that. Yeah, I definitely think we can do 45 days from now and give us some grace. We'll see what happens.
I love it. No grace given here. I'm just kidding. Yes, of course. Because at the end of the day, and one thing that I really want you guys to think about doing is identify like 2 weeks during the holiday season to where you can take the gas off, like take your foot off the pedal. I think that's really important because especially going into what will be a very busy year for you in 2022, you're going to need to take that time. And plus this little Henry's like, you're going to want to enjoy the Christmas. He's going to be like looking at the lights. You want to enjoy that. So definitely identify a couple of weeks where you can really take the foot off the pedal and enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We've got his first birthday in December, so we're excited for that as well. I know. It's all really, it's more fun than anyone could have prepared me for. And it's more, not mentally draining, but just mentally, like it's a jungle gym than anyone could prepare me for. Just figuring out who's going to have him, where he's going to be, and then just hope that whatever
he's keep him alive.
Yeah, when he's in therapy later on, he just knows we tried so hard.
Yeah, I know. I always think about that too. Like every parenting philosophy has its other side, and I can't wait to see what like the other side of my parenting philosophy is going to be. But as long as they know we cared.
I mean, please know that we loved you and we tried, we did what we could, and you stayed alive.
Well, you are creating an incredible business that is going to honor that journey as well. So that's something to be really excited and really proud of. And that's something to cherish. So let's make sure we do what we can to really take every opportunity that will help us accomplish that.
Awesome. Yeah, we're excited. I think this has been, a lot of this has been in the works. And so this is something that gives us a little bit of added accountability. And
a little bit of fuel finish out the year strong.
And we're both pretty competitive. I not so much as Caleb, but giving ourselves a little bit of like competition against ourselves is fun.
Okay, so with that in mind, where can we invite our colleagues in the space to help you with that public accountability? Where can they follow you on social media?
I didn't actually mean it. Caleb, do you have anything like that?
I think just making sure that we're showing up on Tuesdays and Thursdays, check-ins.
You can tell everyone else to look for us.
Yeah, I think maybe posting an update at 15 days, 30 days, and then we'll reconvene it at 45. If we say 15 days from now we're going to post something in the group of what we've accomplished and where we're at, that puts a little bit of extra to it and what we planned, and maybe get some good feedback and pivot our ideas and plans and create something better.
Yeah, beautiful. And where can everyone follow you on social media if they don't already?
They can follow us at Van Horn Homes is our handle on Instagram. We I also have a personal Instagram, Claire Van Horn. I think it's actually okay Claire Van Horn. If you want to see mostly like baby pics and
fun stuff to do in Oklahoma City.
Fun stuff. I do a lot of DIY crafty things over there, but mostly homes and local businesses and partners you can find on Van Horn Homes.
Perfect. I love it. Well, thank you guys for being so generous with your journey. I'm sure everybody who's listening is super excited to follow along, and I look forward to our check-in a couple weeks from now.
Great. Awesome. Thanks, Stefanie.
Thanks.